Let me sit up straight. Okay, so I had an interesting experience, what felt actually quite unpleasant last night, of I was journaling, and this is not unusual when I journal, but information starts getting channeled in, so I'm just writing what I'm picking up on, normal sort of mediumship type stuff. But I felt this sense of not dread, but suspicion. And maybe there was some other energy that was uncomfortable, kind of looming. And I don't feel that very often. I checked in, I asked energy, like, hey, is this, I'm getting a little bit of chills right now, actually. Anyway, enough glitter. So I asked if it was something negative, and I got a no. But then when I kept kind of going in the direction I was headed, I started seeing selfish bitch and then fucking selfish bitch. Now I was having an argument with my husband, so I was having a lot of feelings anyway. But this was like outside of, not outside, but not my normal thoughts. Anyway, it was intimidating, and I could feel energy just sort of surging through. And anyway, not great, not great. So I called upon Archangel Michael, and I did all kinds of visuals to push the energy away from me, let it know it was unwanted, sent it towards the ocean actually, and then had to like actively work for the rest of the evening, because this was, for me, kind of late at night. Like I was winding down for bed. So not a welcome time to experience something like that. Anyway, I had to, kind of keep pushing it away from my thoughts, because that felt like a bit of an invitation to bring it in close if I'm thinking too much about it. And then I had a group this morning with two of my friends who were also mediums, and we were, supporting each other. And actually was told that one of the things I got last night, let me go backtrack, sorry. And I didn't get a lot of information last night, although I was asking. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so I was getting a download about my relationship with my husband, and then all of this happened, and then what I got from it was that energy was my biggest fear. And then I was like, oh crap, it's got its own energy. Like, anyway. So then I met with my friends this morning, I described what happened, and they picked up on a very different perspective on what and who it was, and that it is, and I got a distinct sense of it being female today, and that it wasn't meant to be, can't think of the word that came up, but like it wasn't meant to be ominous. Anyway, and then when I was meeting with my friends, because the bit of fear that I had a hard time completely letting go of moved aside, it was easier to connect with the idea of, and either last night or this morning, I was also doing a visual of this energy being in what looked like a jail cell to contain it, and that I would come back and talk to it later and understand and try to bring love to it, which is what I started to try to send love last night. But anyway, it caught me really off guard, and it's hard to, when you feel a bit alone in these kind of situations. Excuse me. So, anyway, so that's who I'm gonna connect with now, is that energy. And I believe that we are both here to give each other love, was what I got from the meeting with my friends today, and that I'm calling her Michelle. because I came up with, negative Nancy. And she was clear with my friend, she did not like that. So anyway, I got a few names, and then Michelle, I'm just kind of sticking with, and there's something that feels very neutral about Michelle. So anyway, and I just want to make sure I'm putting this, and this is my observation journal. So, okay. Okay, and I'm getting to call her a dark forces queen. We'll see how that goes. Okay, and I think my friend that I've recently been connecting with a lot is here also. So I feel a little supported because he's also really easy for me to connect with. So, and I'm getting yes that I'm getting that right. Okay. My friends also told me this morning that I like let her out of the trap of just my mind, which is why I felt her in my body. And she said to my friends today that when I put her in that like jail cell, that's also what I do to myself. So I get that she's trying to help me to, yeah, to be set free more. So, okay. And I just want to say, on a mediumship perspective, that, getting information for yourself can be, I have found certainly to be the hardest because you can't be objective. Anyway, but I have had breakthroughs in that. And I wasn't feeling clear last night because I was uncomfortable, intimidated, kind of nervous about this strong energy that came through and the negative words I was seeing, even if they were just a projection of my own fear of myself being that way, being a fucking bitch or a selfish bitch. But now that my friends helped me get a perspective of like the positive reasons for connecting and that she's likely just a part of me, now I feel like I can be a lot more neutral. It's like I let go of my desire for my grandparents to, the words coming to me like dote on me when I connect with them, like to say something positive to me or being proud of me, which, I'm a 5-year-old apparently and still want mom and papa to be proud of me. But, I do want them to be proud of how I live my life because I want to also be proud of how I live my life. I'm digressing. Anyway, but I remember on my last solo retreat, I don't know how or why, but I was very aware that I had let go of the desire for that at all. And that's exactly then what I got. I was able to connect with them. It felt very objective. And then they did say something along those lines, which was, of course, yeah, I'm getting flattering. It was flattering, but it was, yeah, thank you. Sorry, a distinction feels like it's being made between being flattering and being needy for, excuse me, some kind of validation. So, oh, that's interesting. The idea of like a compliment versus like a need. Oh, and now I'm getting compliment, like it adds. All right, I'm a little slow. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Whew. And I am feeling her coming in close. So, okay, do you want me to call you? It's occurring to me that Michelle rhymes with Noel. Then I'm seeing the name Sophia. I've always liked that name. So, okay, we're going to go with Sophia. Sorry, with an F, the PH. Okay. Love that name. Okay. Okay, Sophia. So, yeah, and she's, I guess, going to show me the question. So the first question is, why was she provoked to appear? And she's showing me a visual of like those sort of jail cell bars and stretching the bars to, I feel like that's me. I guess that's me, stretching those bars to climb out. And it looks like how I'm being shown is that I'm able to stretch them wide enough where I can actually quite comfortably let myself out, just step out. I'm not even squeezing or trying hard. I'm not eking my way out. Yeah, there is, yeah, a graceful walk about it. So I'm hearing the song Lola, and I kind of can't stop hearing it. And my friend, I'll just refer to him as Kay, who's been around, and he's a relative of an old friend slash connection of mine, played this song Lola by the Kinks a couple of days ago, and we listened to it for like 2 hours. And I'm hearing it again. So yeah, but I'm getting that it's not like just his calling card. There's like a don't forget about me in the mix of these things and messages. Okay. Hmm. And I'm hearing, and I always want it to be that way for my Lola. So, and it's such an interesting song. I was really listening, and not that I didn't understand what the lyrics were before, which often happens. But I'm feeling aware, and I'm getting a yes to this, of the idea of somebody kind of hiding themselves in plain sight, presenting as one thing, but really being something very different, and in a way that you really connect with and relate to and feel akin to. Lola turned out to be a man that a man got to connect with. And this feels relevant because I'm also aware that with, like, you know, a family I'm spending some time with, doing mediumship with, I would have normally hidden what I do and like who I am at this point from them, as well as plenty of other people. And I've been doing less of that over the last couple of years, feeling a lot more like I'm, coming out of the closet more easily, um, like more readily. And it just feels, especially this family who is part of a very religious family, I would have, there's an assumption I would have made to just accept that I need to hide what I do. If we were like having dinner together, like I probably wouldn't even talk about it. I might just talk about podcasts or something. But now it's like what I'm getting is my most endearing quality. Okay, really? To them for right now. Got it. Because I'm bridging a gap for them. So that makes sense. Yeah. She's like, not getting weird. Like, yeah. Yeah. The idea of like if one of the family members was on some very special kind of diet or specialized health regime, and I offered the supplements for that, or I could cook specific to what they need. And, there's nothing weird about that. It's like I specialize in it. Hmm. And now I'm hearing I always want it to be that way for my Lola. Aw. And now what I'm getting is that I should be unashamed. Ashamed? Unashamed? Just checking. Unashamed of sharing about this like aspect of my personality or personal professional life with people. Because being ashamed gets you nowhere. Yeah. And also, I have been ashamed to my core in many other ways for different aspects of my life. Hmm. And this is my brightest star and like accomplishment is that I can do this to help people. Yeah. And this is just me getting yeses as I'm double checking what I'm asking, what I'm getting. Okay, Lola's playing again. Yeah, and now I'm just getting this sense of Lola being hidden in plain sight, but like people know. Yeah, and I'm just getting a visual of some I'm having a hard time seeing him dressed as a man, but I'm seeing this guy in a bar, a little bit on the lanky side, and that he pretends to be something he's not too, but his inside core is acceptable to him and everybody else. And they're saying to me, and you're the same way, and so is everybody else. Everybody else is accepted, hopefully, like accepted, hopefully, by themselves and their family and friends and coworkers and associates. But most importantly, you have to be acceptable to yourself. Because by a far cry, that's way more important. Because you never leave you at home when you go out. You never leave you on vacation when you return home. You're just always right there for yourself, with yourself, by yourself. And you have to, and that feels very emphasized, have to find positive and good ways to love you always. So stop being hidden. There's no case is served. Am I getting that right? I feel like you were going to say no good thing is like nothing is served or accomplished by being that way. Yeah, kind of like that. I'm remembering a channeled message from Bashar through the man that channels him about somebody like pretending to be a particular way to their family, or in some way they're doing something, but the message was like, what are you thinking, not letting your family know who you really are, like the joy of who you are, or the truth of who you are. And I'm hearing from them, we always feel the same way too. Like, how dare you cover yourselves in these blankets of being ashamed and afraid of speaking the truth of yourselves. How dare you pretend to be less than who you really are? We made this possible, and you've ripped people off when you've not shown the true beauty and what's that word? I'm seeing love, not glamour. Oh, and pain as well as love by the services offered through the work of your soul and spirit, or just even the comedy of being funny within yourselves. Mm. How dare you think you're buttering people up by pretending that you're a nice, good girl when you're not. You're just a human being with some flaws, pleasures, some perfections about things. Well, thank you. And they're saying to me, well, Noelle, you are, you're a spokeswoman for shame. Now I want to make a joke. Well, is there a crown or, and they're not wrong. Yeah. Yeah. And then they're giving me this visual sense of like, as if I had some sort of like cloak on me and like I'm taking it off and then I just feel lighter and lighter. And the idea of, to free yourself. Oof. And now I'm getting a pain like right here. Hmm. And now I'm feeling like aware, like, oh, right by my throat chakra. Yeah. And having some pain that my body would have stored around speaking the truth about myself. First of all, as if anybody wanted to hear it. And second of all, as if it's something to feel proud of, like WTF on that. Um, yeah, but it's the truth, and we all deal within the truth, or we try ourselves the best. Sorry, the grammar on that is, but anyway, we try our best to be ourselves. And there's a satisfaction in that despite any rejection by others who just don't understand or who could care less. We should care less. Oh, okay, sorry. Like, who cares less about you than people who are willing to troll you? Like, you're so insignificant, you're not even a real human being, which is part of the cause of them behaving as trolls. The specialness of each person is like left to the devices of the closeness of their support circle. So and I feel like they're talking about these trolls or people who don't really know us, they're not supposed to get close to the end that they wanted to be your best friend. Am I getting this right? Yeah. And that we're not cruel and we don't manipulate people we truly care about. Even in our most self-serving nature, the care is limited for people that we treat so shabbily. And they're saying, and I want to thank you all for listening because it's a very good question of who are we? Why did we come here? Do you mean you as an entity group? Do you mean human beings? Like, well, okay, not where I thought you were heading with that. But as I'm sitting with that, it feels to me like one of those questions of like, what's the point? Like, what's the point if we're only here to learn from a spiritual perspective? We only come to earth to learn. Like what's the point? Why is that so important? Who the fuck cares? Learn for because to apply to is going to get us somewhere and yeah. Yeah, and they're showing the question, where's the point? Where's the point at which the invisible becomes visible and malleable and lovable and cherishable by ourselves as much as everybody else? And that's the true grit of our true nature, is to be and understand the genuineness of the truest version of ourselves here on earth. And that's our soul, our spirit, mixed in with our personality, our body, our culture, the way we're raised, all those choices that we made about when and how and where and with whom to accompanying us for our choices and options for Earth. And how we've shifted to these earthly perspectives. And we've totally missed the boat from the spiritual reasons, sometimes, of why we came here. And I'm hearing again, and I always want it to be that way for my Lola. And now they're saying, who cares what others think? And then they bring in this visual. I'm seeing a visual of myself and doing this kind of work that genuinely brings me joy. And then the question of like, what's the point actually feels non-existent, because it feels like, oh, yeah, yeah, it's like having a day of fun. Like, what's the point? Uh, yeah, it's to have fun. Not that I'm good at this, I'm just saying. In theory, that's why people go out and have fun. Yeah, lots of working around this house, but yeah. I feel like there's something to unpack there, but I'm going to do that later on my own time because that's about me. Okay. Okay. I guess that's all I had to share. Thank you.